Hello and aloha pa. Time is 11 o'clock, 10:57. Today is 16th of August. I'm in Guelph, Ontario. My name is Abbas Tamori. Finally tonight I will be talking about home country, Canada, where most of my life has been shaping here. For me, Canada was really a dream come true. When I was in Iran, I here and there in the movies or maybe some magazines, pictures. Those days there was no computer. I hear about Canada and I go and learn the name of the provinces and the cities, I liked geography very much. And I was found out what are these people yet, It seems so subtle, so elusive on the back. No one just knows too much about them. Because everything about England and America was everywhere, but not about Canada or Australia especially. These two were sort of not too much. So anyways, when in July 1984 I landed in the city of Vancouver, I just felt like home. No cultural shock for me. It just seemed that I came to the right country. I was parachuted in the wrong country before. In Iran, I always was a lonely fellow and aloof from people. Everything was changing, I was learning English. I just didn't like the religion of Islam. I turned into Baha'i faith. Study always the literature, whether it was movie, everything got to do with the West. So people are always saying that how this boy, which is a poet, look at him, how is he going to earn any money in the world? That was truly my questions myself. How am I going to deal with these hardcore, totally difficult people to be with them and make any money with them? My mind was kind of an English mind. I was an empirical person. I looked at things in a logical way, but there was no special trend and ways that you have to do it. You just have to hassle your way in. So, and I didn't like that. But when I came to Canada, things changed as if I got mutated because this part of my spiritual was grown in Iran, but my economical and sociological part of the issue was not very good. I was basically a shy person. I still am shy to talk to public, I think. I wouldn't be able to address a huge audience, I know that. I'm shy individually as a person, but one-to-one and one-to-few people, as long as I become friend, I'm okay. That way I'm like Indians. Of course in here, you always heard, Canadian, like ice-cold people. And as I said before in these videos, when I came down, I had to move from Vancouver. They brought me back to Sarnia. In Sarnia, I had to go to Thunder Bay where I found a job. My friend found a job for me. It was better wage. But my counselor, Mr. Bert Rondo in Sarnia, said that the way the government of Canada has sponsored you to come here, sir, by moving from Sarnia to Thunder Bay, you are breaking this kind of a contract. You're not covered by our help anymore. You're on your own. I said, I don't understand. I've come here to get jobs. If I have an opportunity in Thunder Bay to get a job, I've got to go there, isn't it? He said, no, you have to stay here 1 year. I said, no, I can't accept that. I didn't understand, your laws at those days. That you're so nice to bring me here, but you're telling me that I have to stay here for a year, and I can't just go somewhere else if I find a job. I said, it's better this way. I'm not a burden on the government and everything. He said, yeah, all that true, but still the law says you have to stay here a year. If you go, you're gone. Well, I went to Thunder Bay, took my chances. I started to work for a fellow named Harvey Taylor. He's a very good person. I'm thinking about him right now. So in there, my situation went crazy because after I wasn't exactly working, I think 16 weeks to be eligible for unemployment insurance, which some of David Joseph and others, they worked their way out that I could get unemployment insurance. But I didn't have enough money to pay my last month rent in Archibald Street somewhere in Toronto. A Mormon lady was giving me the back apartment. Here comes Mr. John Henry, a total Anglo-Saxon tall man, that he gave me $800, which he didn't have himself too. He was on Pogey. He went and worked 1 week in Kakabaka Falls and just gave me the money. So I took it. And he said later on, you give it to assembly or do something. Help others. That was very amazing of him, And he also taught me how to approach door-to-door, knock at the doors and talk to people. And that was so great for me because always was inquisitive to know English people. Well, which I thought Canadians were all English at that time. So we knocked the door and I found that people are very receptive. So great it was. And there was this John Gervais, a francophone, always speaks English only, funny guy. He actually helped me out. I remember he fixed my starter, an old truck I had in winter right at my house. It's very amazing, he did it. And he tried to make me Baptist. I gave him a book on the Baha'i faith. He taught me all these things I know about siding and everything else, so I never forget him. So all of a sudden I saw a different Canada, I thought this is my country. Believe it, those days there was 10, 15 Iranian Baha'is in Thunder Bay, and they would not lend me money even to pay my last month rent. I was ending up to Salvation Army. But for the help of this John Henry, thanks God, I was saved. And from that, what he taught me, I started to knock the door. I wanted to start a company. I saw another fellow who was also an immigrant, but from Czechoslovakia, Jaroslav. So we got together and he had the money down for the consumer protection bond, $5,000. I had to put deposit. Based on that, the company started. I knocked the door and I sold the job and I became a contractor. And a salesman, these two guys, Canadian, they made me to be. And my life basically changed from that point. They discovered in that to me, so they did it. So I went in I came in 84 and 87 at 125 Timberline Drive in Thunder Bay at Cherry Ridge subdivisions. I actually built a house. I have the picture on my website. Canadians, Baha'is at that time, they were looking at me and said, this guy was so off and all of a sudden he's so back on his foot. I remember one guy, Terry Nesbitt, used to say, oh, you live in a snap hill. And he wanted to make me to work for L. Williams, I think insurance company. I told him, no, I can't do that. I am an independent person, I'm a self-employed person. That's what Bob, His Holiness, has said, that be self-employed, and I am. And I don't have a big notion of making big money. I'd rather be a money-making machine, which is learning my job. Then it's okay if I'm healthy. I don't need to go after, big things that you want me. He said, yeah, it was very strange that I don't understand you. I said, neither do I understand you, so. Anyways, I was always thinking that, okay, I'm going to save some money, as Abdul-Baha said, our prophet, the interpreter of our prophet, the successor, one of the founding figures, that, I said, I came to Canada, I went to United States, then you go to India, if you have time to go there. It was in the back of my mind that, okay, I'm making some money, maybe even $100,000, and then we head to India. It would be about $1,000 a month. That's like 10,000 rupees. We could easily live there and start to teach. This was in the back of my mind, But Canada was a puzzle for me, guys. I just see economically, sociologically, connected to the people in Canada. But spiritually, I couldn't understand them. I couldn't read the feeling of John Henry, How is this man spiritual? Because we have given a pattern, from Iran, that this is how the spiritual man is, but it didn't look like John Henry. But yet John Henry had all the actions, that's what counts. A practical spiritual man. So is Jack. But attitude-wise, they're so casual, so, I guess, humble. It just doesn't look at all like a spiritual. There's no demurity in their behaviors at all. So it was very difficult because the action was there, but the feeling, that connection wasn't there. I'm watching Hollywood movies all the time. I wouldn't help at all because they improvise and depict something that's not real with the people you're talking. It was amazing to me to get the government of Canada. Can you imagine, guys? Sponsored me, an Iranian, to come to Canada. They paid for my ticket. I had to pay monthly to take it back. Why? To save my life. How can I claim that about my own families? They haven't done that. So I owe it to this government in a serious way. This is the government of God. But I can tell you that, couldn't connect myself. English people are pretty amazing. I'll talk to you later on about it, Anglo-Saxons. They're wide open, come, but you go a kilometer, there's a wall. They will not let you to go behind that. There is a trail. You got to dig into the mind of an Englishman to become close to them. It's very difficult. They won't let outsiders to come in. Between themselves, they're not very good. They're essentially kind of aloof people. They are very private. They are but nonetheless very, very nice people. But so it was a puzzle, you know. Like the government tells me that I can't leave Sarnia to Thunder Bay. Why? He says, this is my personal freedom. I have to go there, isn't it? They say, you know, I knew that these laws in Canada had to be reformed because some of it doesn't make sense. But my inquisitive mind was always at three puzzles. Who are the native in Canada? What are they and why are they different? So different, my God. It took a long time for me to understand them. And English people, basically, not just from a distance that you see them outside and they tell you hi and invite you to their house and you go and work, but I wanted to sit down and talk about the family values, everything else, their spiritual insight, interiors, inside their characters. You couldn't get in. So as the French people in Quebec. There's another ball games, you know. Of these three people, I just wanted to know them spiritually. People, connections economically was there. I could understand Christians. There was nothing on it. But the spirituality of Baha'is was totally confusing for me. Very confusing. In fact, the first attack that I received in my life in Canada, serious blow on my personality, on my character, questioning, it came from the Canadian Baha'is. And then the same people that sponsored all of us to come down here. But when I came down here, they accused me of writing a letter on my own and this and that, and they said that we're going to have to kick you right out of the Baha'i community. And I knew Muslims, Baha'i, Iranian Baha'is were behind it, saying that I was not born as a Baha'i, I was a Muslim, I became Baha'i. I'll probably have some interior motive or something. Anyways, this backstabbing and backbiting at the worst spiritual sin, Baha'u'llah says it is, it was always behind me. So when I saw they're so harsh at me, you have to, you know, go through these videos. I think number 50 says teaching in Ontario. A little bit, you know, it tells you. So kind of I found out these English people, when you get too close to them, they might be dangerous. They may not look as good as it is. It's like a beautiful mountain, it looks blue, but you get onto it, there's snakes on it and all kind of things. But I did not see that in many of them. I don't know. To me, Canadians were Rick Hansen. Canadians were Terry Fox. And many others, Tommy Douglas, you know, even Trudeau. I came at the very last day of Trudeau, you know. These were different type of people from what I seen in the Baha'is, you know. So because of this, I just let go of the Baha'i faith for a few years to things cool down because I had to get my citizenship, and I thought these Baha'is, they may get angry at me and do something to me. So I guess in 1990 it was decided to go to Israel. In there, in the house of Baha'u'llah, I had a vision of him a long time ago that I knocked the door and it kind of let me in. I was a little child in the dream. And he was a very old man, just like a father. He put me to sleep, right beside him. And he was petting me, and it was so nice. And I said to Baha'u'llah, I want the meaning of that dream to come true. I have no fear now. So, back from Canada, I came down here. We had huge argument between me and my wife. Was an Iranian too. And she decided to go back to Australia with my 2 kids, didn't come for a few months. This is another observation of me, that I found out that the women who are coming from the closed culture like Iran or Muslim countries, when they come in Canada, they mutate. They become something else. Because in Iran, it's just like ocean, when you bring a fish from the bottom to the top, boom, it bursts. It's like somebody on the planet here right now we're sitting. If you take them to the atmosphere on the top, there's no air around it, it just, bursts open, explodes. An explosion of characters happened to Iranian Saudi, my wife. This woman would not touch cigarette in her life. It was smoking cigarette. And a lot of things. And I saw that Canadian culture is open. It's not like Iran. In Iran, your wife is the husband. You're not just a husband. The whole society shape her characters in the road, in the street, everywhere. In here, those things are not there. It's a liberated, open country, so the person can mutate and become something else. This is what happened to her. She had exploded characters, and she went to Australia, so I'm not coming back. Finally, she comes back. I had a few dreams of Bob those days, which one of them was that I'm going to be building the house of the Bob. So, as she comes back, I think in the neighborhood I was living at the Embassy Court somewhere in Thunder Bay. There was a girl, wearing black lipstick. I didn't know what this thing means. But I said, Maya, if you could, babysit for us, we'll go out a couple hours in the night for tea or coffee or Tim Horton. And she started to read some of my books, including Thief in the Night and a few things, and she became a Baha'i. Then came a few other young people involved. She had friends, and others, they came in. Somebody from Saskatchewan, Vincent Twardzik, who had a friend, David, and David had a friend. They came down and talked to them, they all became Baha'i. Wow, I said. So I remember Jesse said that, let's just go do something. So I said, all right, now some natives, I work for this native housings. I'm going to ask them, where's Pickle Lake? I asked them, where's the Pickle Lake? They told me how you go from Thunder Bay, me in the truck and the car. We went all the way to Pickle Lake. And in the way, these boys, they picked up another Indian, Billy Trout. Things were going totally in a wonderful, wonderful way. I saw these kids are becoming so spiritual, especially after an encounter with this Billy Trout, the Indian, who wanted to suicide. Now I saw the thing I wanted to see. What is a Canadian Baha'i? Canadian spirituality in action. One of them was Dave. I said Dave on the beginning. In a matter of months, this boy, as if grown 20 years. It was so demure, so much deep characters, and the influential spiritual power he had along with others, Vincent, lots of kids that were there. I saw this, and it helped me also to see the natives, such as this Billy and other people in there. I saw some of them have a lot of problem in them. And boy, oh boy, I just wanted to know them. I got a contract with them in Azenberg to do some, recreation center. We did the work in the day, in the morning, tomorrow they come and break it out. And I remember Ron Roundhead was one of the natives. He told me that, what do you do about these kids? I told him they are like foot, you walk on them. And if your foot doesn't hold your body and you fall down, I'm going to cut your foot. He said, no, it's the same thing. Hey, I don't know if he understood what I said, but he went, He said, is that what it is? I said, you can't punish them, basically. You have to make connection. They said, yeah, but they want to go, I don't know, movies and this and that. They don't want the old ways. I said, I'm pretty sure it's a big competition. You're going to have to win. So this was a big project for me. It was some Baha'i project of by the Universal House of Justice, the headquarters of the Baha'i. They wanted more assembly and more teaching. 5 years plan, I think it was, back in 1990. So I went out of my way, stopped my business, and I rented a house in Pickle Lake. My God, Ontario Hydro connection was $800 a month. There's a picture of that Baha'i Baha'i Center back in Pickle Lake. We were there, I don't know, a month or two. Then we went actually into Rosenberg. I remember the OPP told me that don't call here 911 to help you in Saturday and Sunday. I said, why? He says, because these guys get drunk and they shoot each other and we're not coming here if you call us. I said, so what? He said, my advice is that you don't stay overnight there, come out. I tell him, I know what you're saying, sir. It's all a matter of connections. I have a different connection to these people. I don't think they're going to harm me. He says that, why? Are you something that I don't know? Because they're killing themselves. I said, yeah, but I am something else different. My car was there, my truck was there, and the key was on it even. Nobody even bothered. Only these guys, they come sometimes in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, knock the door, get in, and they start to talk. I started drinking. It's things that they want to do, mostly because they want to talk. Otherwise, when they are not drinking and they're themselves, they don't talk. It's like a muscle is tight. Drinking makes it loose, and they talk. But things they were saying, a lot of it had meaning. Some of them would cry, you know. But I'm going to talk about them because I scanned these people. I found out some unique race of mankind that is not like it anywhere. Maybe a little bit in Japan, you know. Even Chinese are not so much like that, you know. Chinese would be like the Navajos. They do talk and communicate. The Japanese are a little bit shy. And people, they think they're arrogant, but actually they're not arrogant. They're shy. And they have a different perspective. I said there's similarity, you know, a little bit in them. So, but I made connection with them, no problem. So, staying out of business, spending the money. Baha'is, they thought I'm going crazy. And even my wife joined them, said, yeah, you're going crazy. She took all the money out of the account without telling me all of the money we had, except $500. Sent it all back to Australia for the safety to her brother, and he, the other Iranian, her brother, took all the money, never sent a penny. By the time I had to start to go and sell and stay at Hildy Zipper's house, I made around $15,000 to $20,000 those days. I went then, I brought her back, which she was gone again to Southern Ontario or some city. Then I brought her back and we came all the way to Kelowna, but the brother didn't send money in Kelowna. I had to go for the first time in my life on welfare. Look at me, Mr. Entrepreneur, now back on welfare because there's no money. Oh, welfare office was so nice. Immediately they gave us the money. I told them I gotta get out of this and do something. Which I ended up going to Prince George. And again, things started right away. Bang, 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 bang.